When a billionaire black woman faces blatant prejudice from a flight crew who refuses to believe she owns the private jet, what unfolds is a story of resilience and poetic justice. From humiliation to triumph, her actions will leave everyone stunned. Let's dive into Samantha Johnson's journey, a tale of empowerment, accountability, and breaking barriers. Samantha Johnson, a 34-year-old self-made billionaire, stood under the clear Miami skies, feeling the warmth of the morning sun on her skin. The light reflected off her sleek gold watch, a testament to the relentless determination that had driven her to the pinnacle of the tech industry. Dressed in a perfectly tailored navy suit, she exuded an aura of confidence and authority. Today was supposed to be straightforward, a business trip to New York. But Samantha had long accepted that simplicity was a rarity in her life. As she approached her private jet, she couldn't ignore the subtle but unmistakable tension in the air. A group of uniformed crew members stood clustered nearby, their quiet murmurs and occasional glances in her direction laden with unspoken judgment. Their demeanor radiated skepticism and condescension. At the center of the group stood Captain Thomas Sanders, his posture stiff and unyielding, a reflection of the prejudices he carried. His piercing blue eyes scanned Samantha as though searching for a reason to discredit her. When she reached the foot of the jet stairs, Thomas stepped forward, his lips curling into a smile that failed to reach his eyes. "I'm sorry, ma'am," he said, his tone dripping with exaggerated politeness. "This jet is reserved for VIPs. Perhaps there's been a misunderstanding." Samantha's steps slowed as she regarded him, her sharp gaze cutting through his facade. Her voice was steady and deliberate as she replied, "There's no misunderstanding. I am the VIP Samantha Johnson." Thomas blinked, momentarily startled. His expression shifted to one of disbelief before settling into a condescending smirk. "Right," he said, dragging the word out mockingly. "Let me double-check. In the meantime, you can wait in the lounge." Behind her, Marcus, Samantha's trusted assistant, clenched his fists, his frustration evident in the tension in his jaw. He took a step forward, prepared to challenge the insult, but Samantha raised a hand, her gesture calm yet commanding. Without a word, she turned and walked toward the lounge, her heels clicking against the pavement with deliberate precision. Her composed exterior belied the storm brewing within her, a mix of anger, resolve, and the weary familiarity of facing such prejudice. Inside the luxurious lounge, Samantha sank into a plush leather chair, her posture remaining poised despite the sting of the encounter. The opulence of the room, with its crystal chandeliers and gleaming marble floors, only served to undo the injustice she had just experienced. Picking up her phone, she dialed her legal team, her voice unwavering as she recounted the incident with clinical precision. Each word was deliberate, as she laid the groundwork for immediate action. Across the room, Marcus stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, his hands balled into fists. His gaze was fixed on the crew outside, whose laughter and exaggerated gestures spoke volumes about their arrogance. Marcus's frustration was palpable, his loyalty to Samantha amplifying his outrage. Time crawled by, each minute feeling like an eternity. Finally, after an hour, the lounge doors swung open. Captain Thomas strode in, his smug expression firmly in place. "Unfortunately, the jet's owner isn't available right now," he announced, his feigned regret barely masking his satisfaction. Samantha rose gracefully, her every movement deliberate and composed. Her voice was like ice as she responded, "Good. We can discuss this now." Without giving Thomas a chance to reply, she strode past him, her heels echoing against the marble floor. Marcus followed closely, his silent presence a testament to his unwavering support. At the jet's entrance, Samantha pulled out her credentials with an air of effortless authority and handed them over. The crew froze, their confidence dissolving into stunned silence as the truth hit them. Thomas's face turned pale as he stammered, "This is your jet." "Indeed," Samantha replied, her tone sharp and unrelenting. "And as of now, you and your team are dismissed. Gather your belongings and leave immediately." The crew obeyed, their earlier arrogance replaced by humiliation. Samantha stood at the top of the jet stairs, her gaze unyielding as she watched them depart. Only when they were out of sight did she allow herself a brief, satisfied smile. Yet, she knew the matter wasn't over. Reaching for her phone, she contacted her PR team. Within minutes, cameras were in place to document the incident. Samantha stood at the top of the stairs, her commanding presence immortalized in a striking image of justice. The video spread like wildfire, igniting global conversations about systemic racism and discrimination. Hashtags such as #KnowHerName and #privilege trended worldwide, turning Samantha's ordeal into a powerful rallying cry for change. The airline scrambled to issue an apology, but its vague promises and corporate jargon rang hollow. Samantha, however, was not one to settle. The next day, she addressed a global audience at a press conference. "This isn't just about me," she said, her voice steady and resolute. "Even with wealth and success, we are not immune to prejudice. This is a systemic issue, and it's time we confront it head-on." Her words struck a chord, inspiring a wave of support. 2 weeks later, Samantha launched her initiative, Open Skies. Its mission was to create a more inclusive and equitable aviation industry through scholarships for aspiring pilots from underrepresented backgrounds, mandatory diversity training for staff, and mentorship programs to dismantle systemic barriers. The initiative was met with overwhelming enthusiasm. Letters poured in from former crew members eager to join the movement. Samantha welcomed them, valuing their insights as tools for real change. Meanwhile, Captain Thomas and his team faced the full weight of public outrage, their careers abruptly ending as a cautionary tale of the consequences of discrimination. On her first flight under open skies, Samantha boarded her jet accompanied by a diverse and enthusiastic crew. Their faces reflected her vision of equality and hope for a better future. Settling into her seat, she gazed out at the endless horizon. This journey was not merely about reaching New York. It was about breaking barriers and ensuring that everyone had a fair chance to soar.